In this video, we are going to talk about the greatest wine scandal. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. A scandal can be broadly defined as the strong social reactions of outrage, anger, or surprise that occur when accusations or rumors circulate or appear for some reason regarding a person. These reactions can take place when accusations or rumors circulate about a person or persons who are perceived to have transgressed in some way. These responses are possible whenever allegations or rumors are spread against a person or individuals who are thought to have violated some norm in some manner. Those who are directly impacted by a situation may have a range of strong feelings in response to allegations or rumors that are disseminated about a person or individuals who are seen to have violated some norm in some way. These responses often produce disarray, and they could even be in direct conflict with one another. In most cases, they have a detrimental impact on the reputation of the individuals or organizations involved in the issue, both in terms of their standing in the community and their ability to be trusted. There has been a long tradition of questionable business methods within the wine industry. These practices include, but are not limited to, scams, scandals, frauds, and fakes. Remember the name Rudy Kurniawan, since he plays an important role and put this information to use. At the beginning of the 21st century, he was involved in what we regard to be one of the most significant instances of wine fraud that we have seen in our lives. There was no one who could say for definite where he originated, but it looked as if he emerged out of thin air with a number of the most significant wine collectors, buyers, and dealers in the Los Angeles region. This is because there was no one who could say for certain where he originated. Rudy appeared out of nowhere, but in a short period of time, he established himself in the wine auction scene in the Los Angeles region as a prolific buyer and seller of costly collector wines. He is known for his expertise in this sector. He is well known due to both his loud laugh and his hair, which is often pulled back into a ponytail. It seemed as if he had a comprehensive understanding of, and excitement for, pricey wine. It didn't take long for him to give up drinking Pinot Noirs in favor of Burgundies once he tried them for the first time. According to The Guardian, people began to refer to him as Dr. Conti as a result of his preoccupation with the vineyard domain de la Romani Conti. This was a consequence of his fixation with the vineyard. This term was bestowed upon him as a consequence of the extraordinary excitement he had towards the winery. In 2006, Kurniawan broke the record for the most wine to ever be sold at an auction when he sold a quantity of wine at Acker Maryland Amp, Condit that was valued at a total of $24.7 million. This prompted him to beat the record that had previously been held by another individual. These were the days of Silicon Valley's first dot-com boom. A time when the region had more money than sense. This is a combination that has always been drawn to high-quality wines. These were the days of the first dot-com boom in Silicon Valley. Seems like a genuine go-getter? One of the most important things in life that he failed to learn was that in order to pull off a successful con, one had to get himself ready a long time in advance. He didn't comprehend this. He did not achieve any of his goals in this quest. Rudy's lack of drive was, to say the least, a problem for everyone who was engaged in the situation. As a direct result of this, there will be significant price and availability differences among wines offered for sale on the market. As an illustration, Laurent Poncet, the head of Domaine Poncet, was taken aback when he found out that vintages of his Classe Estate Dennis were being sold on the market with vintages spanning from 1945 to 1971. Despite the fact that production of this wine didn't start until 1982. The vintages in question were sold on the market with vintages ranging from 1945 to 1971. The years 1945 through 1971 were used in the production of the vintages that were put up for sale on the market. The sudden appearance of a large number of counterfeit bottles of wine in Bill Koch's collection led him to retain the services of private investigator Brad Goldstein in order to look into the matter and determine the source of the problem. Goldstein made this finding while doing his investigation and discovered that Kurniawan had gotten rid of a magnum of Petrus wine that was produced in 1921. The discovery was made when Goldstein was looking into the matter. Unfortunately for Rudy, magnums were not produced during the time period in which other types of firearms were being produced, thus he was out of luck. It was discovered that Ponset and Koch, in addition to a number of other notable personalities, were responsible for the passing of Rudy. In the year 2012, investigators from the FBI searched the house of Kurniawan. The search was done by agents. They discovered a counterfeiting workshop that was completely stocked with all of the necessary tools and components. He rebottled wine that he had previously purchased for a lower price, and was also able to make fake labels appear as if they had been aged for a longer period of time than they actually had been. If he were to be found guilty of wine forgery, he would be the first person in the entire history of the United States to be convicted of the crime. This is because wine forgery is a relatively new offense. To be more specific, who was this Rudy character? Regarding Kurniawan's childhood, there is not a great deal of information that is readily available. He was given the name Jinwang Huang and was born in Jakarta, Indonesia, in 1976. In the middle of the 1990s, he traveled to the United States on a student visa in order to attend Cal State Northridge and pursue studies in accounting. By the year 2001, he had settled down in the neighborhood of Arcadia in Los Angeles and had developed an unhealthy obsession with wines from California. Soon after that, he shifted his attention to expensive French wines, in particular those that originated in the Burgundy region of France. And he used the money that he pretended to have obtained from his wealthy relatives to do so. It is thought that he hails from Indonesia and comes from a long line of con artists, some of whom are said to have perpetrated major bank fraud but are still at large. It is also believed that he has a family history of con artists. It's only been a short while since he started working for the family business in an office away from his house. The early years of the new millennium did not usher in widespread popularity for Burgundies in the United States. On the other hand, it appeared that Kurniawan was beginning to recognize the growing commercial opportunity. He became as knowledgeable as possible about the wines by having conversations with the owners of the stores, buying hundreds of bottles of wine, and keeping detailed tasting notes. Because of his deep pockets, Kurniawan was invited to join the most exclusive tasting group in Los Angeles, which was comprised of a group of well-known and wealthy men who referred to themselves as the Burghors. These men held prominent positions in a variety of fields, including the music industry, the technology sector, the entertainment sector, and the real estate sector. Kurniawan wasted no time in establishing himself as the dominant member of the pack and consequently took over the role almost immediately. According to a number of different press accounts, he started attending auctions all over the country and spending up to $1 million per month on wine. He also reportedly started drinking heavily. During the course of the bidding, he would thrust his paddle into the air and keep it there until his offer was accepted. This would continue until he was successful. It did not appear that the cost would be a significant factor. In the records that were submitted to the court, it was stated that Kurniawan owed a total of more than $11 million in debt. He was getting farther and further behind on his loan payments, so he increased the amount of collateral he had pledged and begged his wealthy friends for aid. It is alleged that Kurniawan faked papers and unlawfully secured loans totaling millions of dollars. As a result, he was hauled into jail on these claims. The court determined that Kurniawan was responsible for all of the allegations against him, and as a consequence, he was given a sentence of 10 years in prison. In November of the year 2020, Kurniawan was eventually released into the hands of immigration officials after having served his whole sentence of 9 years in a variety of correctional facilities located in the states of California and Texas. It was thought that Kurniawan duped collectors out of anything from $35 million to over $150 million in total via private sales and auctions. The drama surrounding the most famous wine forger in the history of the world had finally come to an end. And within the most elite circles of oenophiles, this was thought to be blockbuster news. Kurniawan is hailed as a hero by a number of individuals due to the fact that he successfully fooled self-centered millionaires and proved that they were unable of telling the difference between a bottle priced at $500 and one priced at $10,000. The figure of Robin Hood is often used to describe him. Some individuals think that he has irreparably damaged the market for collectors as a result of his actions. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.